that ties between the U.S. and Venezuela are deteriorating. First, several Americans were arrested accused of spying. Well, now the South American country is banning prominent U.S. officials from entering. Among those not permitted, former President George W. Bush, former Vice President Dick Cheney, Senator Bob Menendez, and Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart. Senator Menendez responded to this ban with this tweet: "I will continue to speak out against human rights abuses in Venezuela, even if I am banned from traveling there, hashtag sanctioned by Maduro." CNN's Rosa Flores is following this story. So, Rosa, relations between Venezuela and the U.S. have been pretty dicey, but now it has worsened. What's going on?
You know, and it's not just the relationship between the U.S. and Venezuela that's been boiling over. The situation within the Venezuelan country is also very, very tense. There's been massive protests. Just a few weeks ago, there was the arrest of, hear this, the mayor, which is also an opposition leader, of the capital of Venezuela for allegedly being in cahoots with the U.S. government to overthrow the Maduro government.
Surrounded by a sea of revolutionary red in Caracas, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro turned up the heat on an already tense relationship with the United States. Announcing on Saturday the arrest of several Americans for engaging in alleged espionage, including a pilot of Latin American origin flying an American plane and carrying what he called all kinds of documents. 4 missionaries from North Dakota were detained in Venezuela for 2 days and released Saturday, according to U.S. officials. It's unclear if these are the Americans President Maduro was referring to. Government supporters cheered when the Venezuelan president went on to list sanctions on the U.S., including visa requirements for Americans, a downsized U.S. embassy in Caracas, and a travel ban on some American officials, including George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, Bob Menendez, and Marco Rubio, calling them terrorists, in part for what he says are human rights violations by America in Iraq, Syria, and Vietnam. Florida Representative Mario Diaz-Balart, one of many voices firing back on Twitter, saying, "I've always wanted to travel to a corrupt country that is not a free democracy, and now Castro's lapdog won't let me." All this coming weeks after President Maduro accused the U.S. of plotting to overthrow his government, a month after the U.S. imposed visa restrictions on Venezuelan government officials over human rights, and years of an outspoken opposition that in the last 13 months has turned into deadly protests, leaving more than 40 dead on both sides. As President Maduro begins closing the doors on the U.S., Venezuela struggles in its house divided.
Now, the U.S. has not responded to these latest sanctions. As for that alleged plot against the Maduro government by the U.S. government, the U.S. government has come forward and said that those allegations are baseless. Now, Fred, a lot of these U.S. officials who were on that list of terrorists that Maduro listed have gone to Twitter to show their outrage. I want to read to you a tweet. Now, this is from State Representative Ileana Ross-Lademan, and she says, "Proud to be banned from Venezuela by Maduro, I'll continue to advocate for human rights. Hashtag SOS Venezuela." So we're seeing a lot of this online.
All right, Rosa Flores, thank you so much in New York.
You're welcome.
And we'll be right back.